My name's Ken Russell. I'm with Russell Law. I've been an estate planning practitioner for over 30 years. Long-term care planning or Medicaid planning. Long-term care planning is when an individual needs to go into a nursing home. There's a number of families who essentially say to me, I'm trying to keep my parent out of a nursing home. I'm going to do everything possible to make sure they don't go into a nursing home. And parents sometimes don't want to go in those nursing homes. However, there's some times where medical need just overwhelms the ability of individuals or families to take care of a loved one. And so when we take a look at that, we then look at their finances and look essentially at the planning that's going to be required. So when an individual goes into a nursing home, there are essentially a number of different ways to pay for it. Nursing home care can be very expensive. In Pennsylvania, the average cost of a nursing home is in excess of $9,000. So you can see that $100,000 a year is going to eat into any budget, no matter how much assets an individual has, no matter how much income an individual has. There's essentially 5 different ways to pay for long-term care planning. The first is out of your pocket. But you can see with those expenses that even larger estates can be eaten up significantly with costs of long-term care. The second way is to buy long-term care insurance. But long-term care insurance is like throwing a dart at a dartboard. You never know how much money you really need, how much coverage you really need for a nursing home. You may not need it at all. You may need a little bit. You may need a lot. So it's very difficult essentially to determine how much money an individual is going to need. And frankly, those policies are very expensive. The third way is that you could apply for limited benefits on Medicare. Medicare essentially is a government program which pays for medical care for individuals over a certain age. But the Medicare benefits are really not designed for nursing home costs and are very limited. They're essentially designed if someone breaks a leg, has a particular procedure, but they're not really designed for long-term care planning. The third way to take a look at them is for Medicaid benefits. Medicaid is the primary way in which individuals pay for nursing homes, but Medicaid is only available as a poverty program. What that means is an individual needs to be impoverished before they're permitted, in essence, to tap that program. And impoverished means less than $2,000. So you can see when an individual needs that nursing home care, in order to be eligible for this program, assets have to be very low. When we take a look at it, we take a look at an individual when they come in and we say, listen, let's take a look at what's important. The first point that's important is to make sure that the individual's loved one is cared for appropriately. So we want to make sure that that individual finds a great nursing home that they want, that they're comfortable in. Some of the nursing homes essentially like to see that there's assets available to them because they like to receive private pay before they receive Medicaid, because the Medicaid benefits are significantly less than a private pay. So it is important to have some assets going in. But once that individual's in the nursing home that they want to go into, and the question is, if we start having them be eligible for Medicaid, whether or not their care would change. And essentially the answer is no, their care won't change whether it's a private pay or they're getting paid through Medicaid. So essentially when we recognize those facts, we can then take a look at an individual and then try and do Medicaid planning for them. Medicaid planning is very extensive. I'm going to cover that in another video in different aspects. But essentially what we need is all that individual's financial information. And frankly, when you do a Medicaid application, you need all that information going 5 years back, because there's a 5-year look back period. You can see that if a parent needs to go in a nursing home and essentially they're not eligible for Medicaid, they'd essentially give away all their assets to make themselves eligible. The government doesn't permit that. There's a look back period. The government takes a look at any transfers without fair market value for a period of 5 years. Any transfers for less than fair market value within that 5-year period are determined to be includable assets for Medicaid purposes. There's a lot of planning that goes on. Better to do that planning earlier than later, better to anticipate that need earlier than later. But then we have crisis cases where an individual needs nursing care right away. But essentially what's critical is that you come into us, you talk to us, let us see the situation you're in, whether it's pre-planning for potential nursing home care or crisis planning when someone needs a nursing home care. We can help you. We're experienced practitioners in this area. We look forward to working with you.